going on there, YouTube? Back again on the new RCratrod truck build. I am looking at the headlights today. So far all I've done is put a hair tie on as a belt. It looks pretty good. It's a little thick. I bought some O-rings at the hardware store, and I had 3 different sizes, and I lost the one I think will work. So maybe it'll turn up. Probably fell out of my pocket in the car. But anyway, that'll work for now. And so I was having an issue. The way these headlights are aluminum, they're blowgun nozzles. Happen to have these in my storage building. Came with the house on some old ratty blowguns. So I was trying to take them off, and I had a screw strip out, and then I broke 2 of the screws off in it because I just tried to tap them last time with the hardware, and 3mm hardware is not the most stout stuff, so I drilled some new holes in it. I sacrificed one of my lenses that didn't want to come back out, and I'm pretty sure I've got tons of those laying around still. Lots of to me, a high lift parts still. Those are F350 or F250 headlights that came with clear and yellow for some reason. But I'm coming up with a plan here. So my headlights are heavy, like I said. Got a little weight, and this grill is 3D printed. It's pretty thin, and I only have it mounted with 1 screw through the middle off of my front shock tower. And you can see where I've kind of been testing. I got to clearance this out for my micro servo we put in last time. So I am going to replace it. That's just the mock-up grill. That's the one I've done for testing purposes only. So, but with these hanging off at the top of it, and it hanging right here, it was flopping side to side pretty bad. And a lot of people kept pointing out the headlights kind of hang in front of the motor, which is fine, but it's blocking some of the view. So I think I'm going to make a new mount for them. I'm running low on flat stock, but I did find 2 pieces big enough. I'm going to weld these to my front shock tower, and we're going to bend them back and mount the headlights to it. I've drilled new holes. I'm not sure yet. They're threaded a little bit. I ran some hardware through it, but I think it may be, I don't know. We'll figure out a way to get them to stay on real good. But I just love these headlights. This is what started this whole build. Well, I was out there cleaning out my storage building, and I found that, and I don't have a big enough air compressor to use a blowgun. And I was like, man, that looks like a rocket. And I unscrewed it, and I was like, holy crap, that's a headlight for a rat rod. So, you can buy those new. I found them on Amazon. They are expensive. They're like $18 a piece at the cheapest. It's an industrial type deal. I don't know, the guy that used to live in my house did something with like fishing boats. He worked at a boat place, so I don't know. You could buy them from Granger and a lot of other places, and they range in price, and you can get bulk discounts and stuff like that in case anybody's looking for them. But these are nice and beat up and worn. They're not even the same length. One of them's worn down a little more. But these, to me, light buckets fit in the end pretty good. So I'm going to make some mounts for it that'll be firmly mounted to the chassis and wrap around the grill. So it's going to be tricky, and I'm going to try to make it look cool. I don't want to just have flat pieces of metal. I'm going to try to shape it a little bit, and then I'll do the bends last. I'm going to try to measure everything out, mark where my bends and stuff need to be, mark where my holes are and drill them, and then I'm going to try to sculpt this into a shape, and then after it bends, I'm going to try to taper it to a point or something, so it's not just flat steel. I need a little more flash to it, but it's still all going to be bare metal and rusty. So I'm going to take some measurements here. I've got my pieces. That one already has some marks on it. And I've got them clamped together, and I'm going to do everything at the same time. was an ordeal, but I think it works out best. Now the suspension is all the way down, so there is a little interference with the axle. I flipped the offset rod end down there, so I'm not hitting it all. Once we get the springs beefed back up a little bit, there won't be any issues with anything being in the way. I know you watched that in high speed, me putting the whole truck back together, just the front half, and that's getting old. That is an ordeal and a half trying to do that. There's a lot involved, and it's like a, it's a Rubik's Cube. You've got to do it all in a certain order, or it doesn't work, and it's kind of all just trial and error. This thing is getting really close. That fixed my headlight issue, and those mounts look pretty cool. They don't stick out as noticeably as I thought they would. It doesn't really give you too much extra metal in the front, and it kind of supports, it wraps around the grill, so that grill is pretty fragile. I mean, it's held in with one screw, and you can see it's still flexible. Now I will paint another one of those. My headlight brackets also help hide the steering, which was kind of cool. So yeah, let's just hang out here while I do this. I try not to make this video too long. I don't know how long it is yet because it's been 2 days in the making. I'm still having issues with these front hubs. I switched to these G-Made wheels so I could use these 12mm adapters that we got off Shapeways, and they're for some oddball size bearing. None of my ball bearings, they all fit in there, and it's just got tons of play. It's just not right for these axles. So I'm not sure yet how I'm going to address this. When I did the number 1 build, I had some bearings that fit in the 12mm hole. Fit perfect, no biggie, and I just went with that. But I don't know what size that is, so I'm gonna have to do some research, see what I can find. I think I'm gonna leave those off because that's all in between the adapter and the shaft and the wheel, though, because the 12mm part of it doesn't even fit quite right. So not real happy with how those come out. They're just off a little bit. So anyway, I'm not disappointed with the switching wheels here. So I like these. Alright guys, I swapped all that around. It's a 81mm rod with 2 3mm spacers and long offset rod ends. Still got just a little bit more toe in than I'd like. I need an odd number, so I need an 80. If I had an 83mm rod, I'll have to do some digging around. I've got some more stuff put up here. What is that? 73. So I don't know. It's better than it was. I like the headlights lower like that. That one lens you can see on the driver's side is the one I messed up getting them out. And I kept saying I have a bunch of those old high lift lenses. Hey, I don't. I've got a bunch of lenses, but they're to like a cheap China light bar, and they won't fit in there. They're a little bit smaller diameter. So I'm going to have to leave it on eBay and try to pick up a set. I'm sure they won't be real expensive, but for the meantime I just flattened it back out and stuck it in there. But yeah, it's getting close, guys. I've got to still figure out magnetic body mount, and I got to put a windshield in it, and really that's about it. Get it wired up, and we can start test and tune and all that in the suspension. I've got some springs today. I haven't opened them yet. They're for the sand scorcher, and I found them. They're supposed to be a stiffer spring for the rear of the sand scorcher, so I'm going to give those a shot. If they work, I might get some more and try it on this. You can get a better look at the wraparound. And I got lucky. There was enough room for the hardware on the inside. I had planned it to fit a little closer to the grill, but you know how that goes. Welding stuff that small is not that precise. But it's on there. And it just adds another layer of something else on there. So, but like I said, you can see the steering knuckle is hitting the headlight because they're lower. But this is all the way bottomed out. So ride height's going to be about here, and that's going to be plenty of travel, and it's not going to interfere. The tires barely rub it, full turn, but you know how these things are. I don't ever really drive them. I took my number 2 out over, I guess it was yesterday. I took it out for a drive. I thought I'd figured out the problem why it was so slow last year, and I put a bigger battery pack in it, and I got all excited. I got out there, and it takes off like just whole shot real fast, but that's it. It won't go any faster. So I don't know. I need to look. I ran. It's a brushless motor, and I ran that motor in a TT02 Tamiya car, and it was just blazing fast. So it's got to be the gearing in that RC 4-wheel drive transmission. So I'm thinking we may end up swapping transmissions out on number 2, because I think that old disruptor case is geared super low. It's got like, I think it's got like 9 gears in it. It's a tiny little gearbox. It's got a locked planetary type thing, and it's pretty wild inside. I took it apart to make sure it was greased, so we may have to swap that out for something a little more speed friendly. Maybe a SCX10 transmission or something, that if we can squeeze it in there. But anyway, I just thought I'd tell y'all about that. I got some oil on the body and it hasn't dried off yet, so I'm worried I messed up my finish. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching and sticking through all my high-speed grinding and sanding and welding. And stay tuned for more to come. See y'all in the next video.